rested your head against, kissed him, held him close. You were grateful you got this chance. Kiss him! Kiss him! Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. My name is Death by Pony. Today we're hopping back into our life. So without further ado, let's hop in. You forced yourself to keep an even face in front of Randy. You knew it was coming, but you still didn't like it. But, well, she released her hold on the accessory and looked into Baxter's face directly. It was really thoughtful of you to do all this. You should stay and enjoy the party too. You really are a gracious host. His words held sincere appreciation at the welcome extended enough to get your hopes up. But I can't do that. The rejection was equally amiable. That didn't make it less disappointing. You don't owe me anything, certainly not a place among your real friends at your birthday party. There's no reason to feel guilty. Now if you'll excuse me, take care. With a kind wave that left no room for further arguments, Baxter breezed past your group. That was it. He was gone. Terry's shoulders hung low. She'd been able to have fun when Randy arrived, but the fresh reminder of what happened made all the regrets resurface. Cove could only silently rub the scar on his left arm. The worst part of all, Randy's cheer hadn't returned after Baxter's vanishing act was complete. He'd earnestly wished for her to have a happy birthday, to be happy, but it was understandably hard to get into the celebratory spirit after that kind of revelation. It shouldn't have ended like that. It didn't have to end like that. You wouldn't let it end like that. If Baxter wasn't going to be at Miranda's birthday party, you had to be something else he could be part of. You mentally grappled with the problem and cast your eyes about trying to grasp any hint of an idea. Then something Terry said earlier came back to you. Terry, all three of the others glanced your way. It was the first crack in the awkward silence, and that was enough for Cove and Miranda to also take interest. Yeah? Could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I owe you my life for making sure this wasn't a disaster. I'll help you out whatever you want.
Me too.
I'll help too if there's something I can do. Thanks. Miranda's birthday will be going for just a couple more hours. It'll be done way before the place closes, and Terry said we've got room for the entire day. So tonight, after all the other guests are gone, let's use this venue for an after party, not a totally different party. Another party? He tilted his head incredulously. Yeah, another party, not a birthday party. It could be our very own. Summer soiree. And it can be just for our group, me, Randy, Terry, Cove, and Baxter. We could try and set aside some of the food and drinks for later, clean up the mess when everybody's left, and we'll have slow music at this event. You know how much he wanted to dance? And I'd do it with him. You were a great dancer. You knew how to dance well enough anyway. Yeah. At the first to affirm the idea was the one originally most trepidatious about Baxter being there, but she answered with full confidence.
Let's do it!
I'll be a member of the secret planning party committee for this surprise. If he can do it for me, I can do it for him. Maybe Terry was right. We could all use more friends. Cove did not look convinced of all that, though he couldn't disagree at the main suggestion. Okay. A wide grin pulled at Terry's face, seeing this new plan forming. We should catch him before he's gone. He might not get the message if he escapes now. I'm on it. See you, and thanks. You rushed through the guests coming and all sides, clamoring for their lunch. Bursting out of the party room was like waking from a dream. The pink extravaganza was replaced by plain white hallway, and only sound were footsteps echoing on linoleum floors. You'd be able to forget the normal world for a while, but it had been there the entire time, going on as usual at the other side of the door. But Baxter wasn't there either. He kept going through the lobby and into the parking lot. His hair might have fit in with the black tarmac and white painted lines, but the camouflage couldn't fool you. He was at the end of the row, moments away from getting in his car. Baxter! He turned around, sound of your voice. Pushing yourself further, shut down the wide open space.
I swear.
James, did something happen? Wait, please tell me it's not the chocolate fountain again. Your gait slowed immensely in the final feet, and you came to a stumbling stop in front of Baxter. He waited patiently for an answer. Nothing is wrong. Well, if that's a relief. You could have fooled me, however. You shouldn't be running out of the building if there are no issues. Go enjoy your damned fountain. Baxter's grin was teasingly harmless, though you didn't miss the layer of genuine frustration at the stupid machine after all the trouble it had caused. He smoothed his face and shirt out in fluid motion. It'll be fine. Perhaps I'll take a nap, I'm gonna go back. I just have to ask you something first. I see, I'm all ears. Okay, so I know you've already done a lot for this party and us, but if you are not too exhausted, could you come here again tonight around 7 p.m.? Baxter's almost unspeakable smile was lost to suspicion. Not good. This was a surprise you were planning. You threw out the first cover that popped into your head before you could speak, obviously question on the tip of his tongue. I don't want to hide home with Terry. Need help cleaning up at the party. It's important. I can't tell you why. I'm sorry. I just don't know what I'd do without you for that long. Clean up after the party, best one. Razor sharp smirk crossed his face. The gaze cut right through you. Even more not good. But he wasn't there when Terry mentioned how long you'd have the room. Baxter might know something was up, but you assured yourself you couldn't.
Certainly.
Guess what? You stood your ground.
Certainly.
Certainly, James. I'll be here at 7 on the dot. Gave his hand a quick squeeze. You gave him a quick hug. You gave him a quick kiss. He let out a breath of relief. Quick kiss. This brushed against his face and a tiny peck. It was only for a second, but his warmth lingered even after. So did the sparkle in his dark eyes. Thanks. I'll see you soon.
It's settled.
Yes, you will. Baxter parted from you yet again, but as you saw him off, you felt good about it. That this time, him leaving didn't mean he was simply gone. It meant you'd have time to prepare for his return. You found your way to the party room just in time to sing happy birthday. Sliding along the rest of the group, you acted as if you'd never left. Cove chuckled and quietly welcomed you back. Terry's confetti cake was placed in front of Randy at the head of the table, and the 19th candle you picked out in the store yesterday was lit by her dad. When she blew it out, the room filled with cheers. Her friends and family ate sandwiches, salad, and cake. The chocolate fountain was a huge hit too, thank goodness. Miranda, Cove, and Terry and yourself each squirreled away a plate of extra desserts and snacks for the secret party. Soon guests got second wind and more dancing commenced. At this time, even Cove stepped up onto the lit-up floor. Every single one of you could enjoy yourselves to the fullest now, and you did for the final couple hours of the party. When it got closer to dinner time, guests began to trickle out little by little. Many of them came by to hug Miranda and wish her the best once more. That was how Miranda's 19th birthday concluded, and now the preparations for the summer soiree began. You informed the team on when Baxter would be arriving, how they couldn't dally. The four of you, plus Miranda's parents and siblings, cleaned up the trash and took down the decorations that indicated birthday was going on. On the tables, the sound system was left in place for the summer soiree. You also recovered the white boa from under the table where Terry hid it earlier. It was still in pristine condition. Perfect. At 6:50, Miranda kindly used the last of her birthday girl power to ask her family to get out of here so her friends could have their own party. The Eckert clan accepted being kicked out to the curb and graciously made themselves scarce. Jude held up a peace sign as he shut the door behind him and the rest of the folk taking their leave. By 6:55, you double-checked the dance floor, any debris, and it was spotless. At 6:58, you wandered about the room trying to pick out the best place to stand and wait. Terry teasingly wondered aloud if that's what she looked like before Randy arrived. It was. At exactly 7, the door cracked open. Excuse me, may I come in? Unsure of what he was walking into, Baxter paused at the precipice. Enter, Baxter Ward. That was all the encouragement needed. Baxter came into the party room. He smiled graciously at the cluster of people silently standing ahead of him. Cove leaned over stiffly like a balloon slowly deflating. He whispered awkwardly into your ear.
So...
What are you supposed to say now? Are we shouting surprise for this? Let's not do that. Okay. Ahem. So welcome back. Thanks for being here, Baxter.
Welcome.
How good of you to come, Baxter. With the way Terry rubbed her hands together and the vague sense of satisfaction in her tone, she was giving the impression he'd fallen into a nefarious trap. Now the guests have finally arrived and we can begin.
What?
What do you mean? I should think the guests have left by this point. Baxter had a generously low level of confusion about the strangeness, nearly raising his brows rather than making hastily retreat. Even though Baxter would probably be the last person you knew who'd be scared off by villainous shenanigans, you decided to avoid any potential misunderstandings. What? Can't you tell? There's obviously a summer soiree happening. A summer soiree, you say? You've got it. This event is Miranda's birthday no more. She dramatically crossed her arms over mother and flung them outwards, as if swearing off the entire concept of a birthday. Terry had to rent this room for the entire day, even though we only needed it until the middle of the afternoon. So we decided to use the last few hours we had here to have another party, one that's for the group of us, so you're invited. You parted from the bunch to position yourself right in front of the son, Baxter. He didn't flinch as you draped a white feather boa over his shoulders. Baxter's mouth opened wordlessly and stared up at your face. He tentatively lifted up a hand and brushed his fingers against the feathers surrounding him. He had to check it was truly there. Then, with his eyes still wide in delight, he grinned. A grin grew across Baxter's face.
To be honest,
I must admit I assumed you were scheming something, but I absolutely did not think it'd be this. I never should have doubted your ability to throw a surprise party. Terry, Randy, and Cove crowded around the two of you to reform the group with the newest member. Didn't I tell you the best way to have something be a real surprise is if you do it the last second, so no one even had the chance to put it together?
You're very good.
Yes, you did. I suppose there are many advantages to that strategy after all. And so the summer soiree commenced. You hung around almost barren snack table. It was the only piece of furniture left behind from Randy's party. There were even chairs mostly. Miranda had joked that Baxter could take the throne now if he wanted to. That part came with the room. He courteously declined. Dinner was simple, more sandwiches and salad, an mostly quiet meal, but that's exactly what was needed. At 7 a.m. that morning, you'd left to prepare for Miranda's birthday. 12 hours later, you were still there, lazily enjoying one another's company after an extremely long day. Couldn't be overappreciated. Cove wiped crumbs from his mouth as he was done eating and addressed Baxter without being spoken to first for a change. There's dessert for you too, a slice of the cake and one of the cupcakes. Thank you. I'd like to try the cake Terry made, but I've had quite enough of the cupcakes. Fair enough. He was well acquainted with the confections if he'd never taken a single bite. Then can I have it?
Absolutely.
Please do. Oh my god, look at these two getting along. Don't forget the chocolate fountain. Of course. Terry jumped in with another sampling suggestion. The contraption was Baxter's second, arguably most formidable enemy of the event. It's still going strong. You've got to try it. However, he chuckled. All right, if you insist. Oh my god, for all the trouble it caused, the fountain had indeed kept flowing even as the night went on. Dozens of treats passed through it. Oh my god, look! We find the fountain. Oh my god. It was the only part of the equation that was in good shape, however. The platter of goodies alongside it had become a plate of baddies. What remained was some snap pretzels, fractions of scraps of fruit, and mostly the full-size granola bars. Cookies and marshmallows had to the shock of no one had been more popular choice. Those were gone long before the first party even finished. Not one to complain, Baxter plucked of a granola bar and slipped one end into the rippling sheet of liquid chocolate that he'd melted himself. Cove, meanwhile, wasn't going to settle for that, despite being the one who brought them. He tore off a piece of his second cupcake of the night and stuck that into the fountain. His fingers got coated as well. Baxter's languidly watched Cove make a careless mess. You know, food that crumbles will get into the chocolate and... never mind. Smirking, Baxter removed the bar from the fountain and flipped around. He leaned his backside against the edge of the table. What does it matter if the chocolate clumps? I wouldn't care if the fountain broke at this point. The point was punctuated with satisfied bite into the chocolate-covered granola bar. That's good. No matter how definitively he made the statement, it was hard to tell if he was being serious or not. Skipped a pretzel piece, a dip, tried to a leftover piece of cake, went for the granola bars, dipped somewhat under ripe strawberry. You left. We're going to try some cake. This late in the game, there were no rules left, but it was still a challenge to actually achieve. When you put the cake under the flow, it collapsed into the pool. If you tried lowering it directly into the basin, it got stuck there and tore off. You didn't give up no matter how many crumbs filled the fountain. Sure, it was a bad idea, but it was fun. When the slim pickings became non-existent pickings, even the most daring amongst you had to call it quits on the fountain. Terry used the final chance to fill her most basic urge, stick her tongue directly into the stream of chocolate. Miranda giggled and squirmed at how wrong it was. Terry gave a thumbs up, putting your body parts into contraption was recommended apparently.
All right.
Terry cleaned herself off before making a new announcement. This isn't a birthday celebration, so you know what that means? It's not weird to have slow dances at our main event.
Huh?
Pardon me, dancing? This party of 5 is going to have slow dancing? Baxter questioned what he was hearing, not in a fun, this is too good to be true way, but in a tone that was almost accusatory, like you'd gotten him a trap after all. I am beginning to get the impression that this impromptu event is less for the entire group and more for me specifically. Once again, the group became divided between the 4 of you together and one outsider. As always, it was self-imposed. Baxter's arm folded, his gaze wandered over to each of the faces around him. He was searching for a reason. You wanted to know Baxter's motivation for his own behavior. Well, yeah, mostly it is. That was the plan. But why? You didn't have to. He insisted immediately, defensively. The chilly reception didn't hamper Terry whatsoever. Perhaps she took him for being shy in the spotlight. She wandered away and hit the music, setting it to a lovely tune with gentle pace, and nice enough song could smooth out any of the bumps. Baxter remained defiant, motionless for a response to what he said. He couldn't and wouldn't accept the situation. Under that kind of pressure, Miranda glanced at the floor and Cove sheepishly turned from Baxter to look at you for guidance. I see. That was enough of a hint for all to be clear. You were the planner for this party. Of course, that's how it happened. That was what you read in his expression. Baxter no longer traded stares among the crowd. He didn't see anybody else in the room except you. You left me no choice. It was only fair. I couldn't leave you out. You deserve some thanks. You left me no choice. He took in a breath through his nose and curled his ringed fingers into his fist. You have taken the initiative this time. For the second time that night, you'd approached Baxter. Then you offered him your hand. Can I have this dance, Mr. Ward? A crease in his brow cracked. Baxter's hardened expression was frustrating and wonderful to him, and you had your suspicions on why he struggled with the gesture. Delicately and still without another word, he accepted. For a moment, Baxter could let go of his concerns by holding on to you. Hand in hand, you walked to the center of the lit-up floor. The room was so quiet you could make out the bits of conversation the others were having. Terry offered to dance with either Randy or Cove, but both of them refused with varying degree of nervousness. Terry could only laugh. She knew it was coming. Out of the normal group, you might have been bold enough to do that with her, but you already had a partner. But that meant you had the whole space to yourselves, though at first you could only prompt Baxter into swaying in place. With time and encouragement, the dance moved onward until Baxter swept around the room with you like the pro he was. Look at that sweet smile. Look at him. He's just so sweet. You were able to move with him nicely. He kept his steps at an approachable level. When the song ended, the enchantment both of you were under vanished. Baxter settled himself enough to speak to you.
Well.
So, he murmured pleasantries a hair breadth away from your face. Was the birthday party a success? Everybody had a great time, especially Miranda. Baxter's lip quirked. It must have been a relief to know for certain that nothing fell apart once he made his retreat. Thank you for everything. It went by in a flash. I'm sorry you couldn't be there. I hope you'll get some well-deserved sleep after this. You did a fantastic job. You deserve some sleep. I'm sorry for keeping you up even longer. Don't be. This is more than worth the trouble. Then a playful little rang in his tone. Oh, and before I forgot to mention, I'm thrilled to attend another summer soiree with you. Me too. His eyes closed and placed one foot back, only for a second. He thought better of it and brought it back in line with his other leg. I'm not lying when I say this is one of the grandest occasions I've attended, confessed by a man wearing a $2 feather boa standing in the final remnants of a birthday party thrown together in 2 days. That scene had to be a far cry from the formal event you were certain he'd attended throughout his life before coming to Sunset Bird. You didn't doubt the earnest of his words for a second. I'll apologize if I didn't give that impression initially. I hate to be a bother, and you went through so much trouble. You nearly forgotten you hadn't let go of each other after the dance until Baxter's grip around you had tightened. It doesn't matter now. The effort is sincerely appreciated. In a way, Terry had been right. Even Baxter Ward could be bashful in certain regards. It was okay. You were just glad he enjoyed himself in the end. Rested your head against, kissed him, held him close. You were grateful you got this chance. Kiss him! Kiss him! You're sleepily and relieved you could finally just be happy with your charming suitor. He accepted the affectionate Reddy this time, pressing into you sweetly. Thank you for inviting me to your party, James. His eyes were still dancing, even if his feet had stopped, but his words carried the weight of finality with them. There was a joy he found in the fleetingness of it all. Just like this might be our last party with Terry, Miranda, and Cove, it could very well be the first and final time for Baxter, too. He accepted that as a certainty. Baxter was always so ready to leave with parties and the town on the whole. He treated everything that came his way temporary, to merely be embraced while he could, and then to freely release. Even though you knew that, even if he'd never done anything differently, you hoped he would keep having a reason to return, as long as you reached out to him. Oh my god, that took forever. I don't know how many clips that one was, but it was worth it. I'm losing my voice and I have to go to work, but we made it through the DLC. Now I have to make it through everything else so we can get to Baxter's ending, and then I'll record that. But at least I don't have to talk no more. Not that I don't love this, but I've been doing this since, I want to say, started around, it was before lunch, so I started around probably 11, honestly. And now it's almost 4 o'clock and my voice is dying. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, remember to hit like. That way I know you're enjoying the videos, and remember to subscribe. That way YouTube brings you back here to see what's next, and I won't take up any more of your time. Have a good day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.